Namovaha, Namovaha. Namaskar. Welcome everyone to a long-awaited YouTube video. I've been away for a while, and thank you for your comments and emails on when I would be back. I'm back, and part of the reason I haven't made any YouTube videos is because for the last several months, I've been shooting videos about Bitcoin and about helping people reclaim their financial independence. But I've been saving most of those for our private Bitcoin group called Crypto Questions Answered. And so if you want to know more about that, there's some details below. You can sign up for our group. For the lifetime membership, we're no longer accepting drop-ins, but I've been saving most of the financial analysis for that private group. What I'd like to do moving forward is to come back to another aspect of astrology, in this case, which will be compatibility relationship astrology. Because the two big things in life are, you know, having enough money to secure yourself and your family, to buy the things you want, to buy yourself a little bit of free time, and then love, and having someone to share that free time with, having someone to share those things in your life with, and in your life purpose with. And so for the first part of my sort of astrology, public astrology career, meaning besides seeing clients, which I did privately for a number of years, was writing a book on sports astrology. Now, part of the reason I did that was because I wanted to prove that the stars, the rhythms in the sky, the alignment of planets actually have an effect on our day-to-day lives. And it's very hard to prove that in areas where there is margin of error, meaning, you know, oh, we could say, oh, your life will improve next year. Well, did it improve? I guess, right? But that's not a good metric. But in sports, if you say Boston's going to win or New York is going to win, that's a black and white outcome. And so I wanted to test astrology. I started, and to do that, I actually put my own money on the line. And so I started with $50. I turned that into $25,000 within 6 weeks, 7 weeks. And that journey is detailed in this book called Gambler's Dharma. And unlike most books on financial astrology, this book contains 3 chapters on Dharma, actually. And the idea of how do you know how to do things the right way, I should say. And so I talk about it here, and see here it says I turned $75 into over 24K. It's actually $50, but then I got a $25 bonus from the betting place. So it was $50 of my money, and it ended up being well over 25 grand, but I'm just being very conservative here. And so in this book, I talk about the greats of Vedic astrology. I talk about Dharma, about reading the Vedic chart and how it's different from a traditional Western chart and so forth. So there's a lot of astrology. This is the only astrology book I've ever written, by the way. My other books, the 5 Dharma types and so forth, are on helping you find your purpose. There's no astrology in those books. So if you want to learn astrology from me in book form, this is the only way to do it. And I do talk about quite a bit other than financial astrology, although the bulk of the book does discuss how to judge winners and losers. So that was the first step in my journey. The second step of my journey into financial astrology was through the prediction of crypto. And I came into that because some clients asked me about Bitcoin, and I happened to see that Bitcoin would have where it was going in the next couple of months, and that turned out to be correct. And so I was hooked. And as it turns out, crypto has become a way for people to gain their freedom of time, as I mentioned earlier, so you don't have to work insane hours. You can spend more hours with doing the things you want to do. Freedom of dignity, so you don't have to do things that that undermine your dignity, selling your body, your time, your talents for less than they're worth, or doing damage to your body, mind, and soul without really getting it much in return. And so that freedom has allowed myself and others who have been in this on this crypto journey the time to explore what they truly want to do with their lives. So in crypto, again, you know, I turned 50 bucks into 25 grand using sports astrology, but sports is tough. I won't lie to you. You have to pull a lot of charts. And to be honest, crypto is easier. So I've moved on into crypto for the financial stuff. And if you want to join us, our class is open to lifetime subscribers. It's 300 bucks for the lifetime membership, and it's still going on. And we have a few hundred people now. And I reserve, and in the future, I'm reserving all of my YouTube time and energy for that private group. Okay, so here publicly, I want to talk about, I want to move on to that other area of life, as I just mentioned, which is love and compatibility. All right. So I'm still kind of scrolling through this book. I love this book, by the way. This was the most joy I've experienced in writing ever. I've never written anything that was so joyful to me in my heart than this book. And I think you can feel it. There's a lot of humor. We laugh a lot. You know, a lot of these are songs, famous songs from the 80s. A lot of the titles are. And, you know, we talk Sanskrit, we talk Jyotish, we talk philosophy. I share some of my, you know, experiences and so forth. So it's a fun book to read. Consider getting it, because I truly put my heart and soul into it. It's not as profound as the 5 Dharma Types book, which is sort of a life-changing kind of technology that was sort of flowed through me, came through me. It's not from me. I gave it my, you know, of my flavor, you could say, but it mostly came through me. That was a work that took 8 years, and it was a labor of love, but this was a labor of joy. So anyway, yeah, and that's the preview on Amazon. So now I'm going to share with you a couple of techniques. We're going to start some online free tutorials here. Before we launch into those, I want to share with you that there's truly nothing like learning live with true masters of their craft. So November of this year, in fact, in a few weeks, the Sedona Vedic Astrology Conference will take place. And I just want to let you know, I'll be there speaking. This will also be online via Zoom. So you can join us in your underwear. You can join us and you can cook breakfast while listening to us lecture. There we are. Myself and Dr. Andrew Dutta, world-renowned KP, master astrologer, and all-around good guy. So it'll be great to be there and share these techniques with everyone via Zoom or live in Sedona itself. So you have until October 31st to sign up for the early bird. Please join us for that. It would be great to have you there, okay? Now, November is a busy month. There is also another amazing conference happening, which is here at Arshavidya Gurukulam. And now let me share that. If you go to jyotish.com, you'll see I'm going to be interviewing Dr. K.S. Charak, October 31st. I believe it's a free interview. Anyone can come. We're going to be talking about some really deep stuff. So I hope you can make it. If you're watching this after October 31st, 2021, check out the video. I'm sure it's going to be up, and Arsha Video will share it with everyone. Now, there is a Jyotisha Kumbha Mela going on, which will be virtual, and you get a discount for being one of my students, $50 off. Check out the code below when you sign up for that. And again, you're going to have a chance to converse live with all of these great Vedic astrologers from India joining us live. Yeah, looking forward to that. Conferences, let's see, let me just go there. And there it is, International Kumbha Mela. So again, you get $50 off if you register. It's just a code from me. I don't get anything from it. It's a code to encourage you guys to register. It's coming up over 3 weekends, 6th and 7th November, 13th, 14th November, 4th and 5th December. So super easy to attend and will not clash with the Sedona Vedic Astrology Conference. If you're watching this after November, again, go to jyotish.com and you can actually pay for the recordings, all right? And the speakers are, I mean, it's a who's who of the best, Dr. Charak, Vinay, Mr. Goel. I don't know who this guy is. He looks fishy to me. We got Mikhail, the founder of Parashara's Light, Michael Sugarman, all-around great guy and master at addiction, the astrology of addiction, and other psychological issues in the chart. He's excellent at helping you find those. Dr. Dutta, Gary Gomes, Ms. Charlotte Benson, and so on and so on. So it's an all-around very nice group of speakers. So, okay, with that out of the way, so I brought this up in the context that it's nothing is as good as learning directly from the teachers, because you can ask questions. YouTube videos like this one that I'm teaching and that everyone else has on YouTube, they're only one way. That's, you're getting, and I'm sorry to say, but often you don't know if the knowledge, if the information is correct. Who's to say? I'm going to turn here a little bit so I'm a little bit more in the light. Who's to say that what you're getting is authentic Jyotisha? It's someone's opinion. But in these conferences, these teachers have been vetted. They've proven their that they know what they're talking about. Okay. The next thing I'd like to discuss, and forgive me, this is going to be a bit of a long video, but I've been away from the tube for a while, so there's a lot that's been building up that I want to share with you. So, number one, my orientation. I'm going to start talking more and more about relationship astrology moving forward. Number two, please join these live conferences, both of which you're going to get a discount if you join in the next few days. Number three, one of the things that people forget about astrology is that it's 50% descriptive, 50% prescriptive. And meaning that 50% of the astrologer's job is to tell you, okay, here are the issues, here's what's going on. And the other 50% is to potentially give you recommendations. Now, not every astrologer operates that way. Even I don't really operate that way. But sometimes when a chart is very afflicted, or forget the chart, maybe you don't even know your chart, you're just suffering, your health is bad, or your love life is bad, or your financial life is bad. One of the common things that is recommended is a puja or a yajna. And one of the sites that I've used, that I'm using currently, is puja.net. I know the founder, and they've been doing it for 30 years. These guys are up and up and way above board. And most importantly, the stuff works. And it works because it's been tested in the real world. And that was my point about sports astrology and crypto, is if your stuff doesn't work, you're going to lose. right? Well, this is another arena where, you know, these things are tested, is in the real world. If these yajnas didn't work, it would be difficult to keep up a practice for so many years. Anyway, so I want to recommend puja.net, and they're ridiculously inexpensive. So you can have health yajnas done on a daily basis. You can have abundance yajnas and so forth. So you just click purchase, and I think there you can look at the rates. Look for a daily Navagraha yajna. It's $97 a month. Now, for most people in the Western world, that's not a lot. Okay. I think it's pretty affordable by anyone. You just skip your Starbucks coffee, right? $3 a day times 30 days, there's $90. And you can save up for a daily yajna subscription. Okay. So puja.net. Now, this is useful because what I'm going to be covering here moving forward is combinations for good relationship, combinations for difficult relationships. And sometimes if you have difficult relationship, there are times when this kind of stuff will help. Sometimes nothing will help and you just have to break that relationship. But sometimes it's helpful to try these sort of supernatural kind of remedies. Now, when it comes to health, you can't say, well, nothing can help because, you know, your life is on the line, so you have to try something. But these have proven a track record with people whom I personally know. And so, yeah, check them out. All right, next order of business. Now let's get down to what I'd like to talk about today, which is relationship astrology. One of the, let's see, actually about a year ago, I did a class on relationship astrology called the Compatibility Protocol. And I'm sharing here with you part of the pro forma of this Compatibility Protocol. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a particular portion of that protocol. Now, there's a lot of work that goes into the entire protocol. And fortunately for you, we've programmed a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it into the Cosmic Insights platform. Now this is going to sound like I'm selling something, but I'm actually not. I'm here to teach you a couple of techniques. But if you want a quick way to see how those techniques come together, you can go to Cosmic Insights. This is an app for your phone. They've done a phenomenal job of programming the information on compatibility, as you'll see here in a minute. And you'll see how you have access to a number of ways of looking at compatibility. So you're going to click on add-ons once you have an account. And let's see. Compatibility. Click on compatibility. Okay, so when you click on compatibility, if you have this add-on enabled, it's going to bring up the ability to look at the compatibility of different folks. So let's go ahead and put in the compatibility of two people who are married, Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. And now you have the option of doing three different systems: Ashtakuta, Dashakuta, and modern methods. So let's start with the Ashtakuta. You can click on compatibility, and it's going to give you the score. Wow, poor score here, right? You're going to think, okay, these people, forget about it. Dashakuta, 14. Oh my God, terrible score. By the way, the minimum one ought to have is about 18. All right. But my method, which is called the modern method, which incorporates the old Vedic astrology traditions of Ashtakuta, but incorporates them in a sort of more comprehensive way, that will give you a score that is designed for modern relationships. And modern relationships meaning where the man and the woman have an equal say in the relationship, for one, where the man and the woman have an equal right to being fulfilled professionally, sexually, and otherwise, right? Because the older methods tend to be more patriarchal, let's be honest. Now, that doesn't mean they don't work. They absolutely work. However, they have to be seen in the context of where we live. There's something called Kala Desha Patra, which means, you know, you have to be up with the times. You have to be mindful of the space and the country and where you're living. You know, compatibility in Afghanistan right now is going to be different than compatibility in the United States, even though it really isn't. If two people are compatible, they're compatible, but how it's expressed will be different. So in the, so I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you how to use this app. Before I do, and before I teach you the techniques I'm going to talk about today, you can actually get a discount on this as well. Use the code Simon, and you'll get, I think, 20% off of this. And for this, I think I do get some kind of a little bit of, this is like a referral link. So it's an affiliate link, just to be upfront with you. It's my protocol, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So using that protocol, if you have it added to your Cosmic Insights, you will see that the modern method result is actually very good. These guys, look, with compatibility like this, it's likely this union will be a successful one, especially if there are deal makers, and so forth. Now, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to share with you is specific techniques. And there is something we didn't program here, which is the sexual compatibility. And these two birds, lovebirds, have it off the charts. So we know that's one other thing that's they have really going in their favor, but that's not in this protocol. That's coming in a future protocol, which will be even more comprehensive than this. But for now, yeah, check out the compatibility, the modern methods section. All right. So, what are we going to learn today? Today, we're going to learn the, how do I undersell this? One of the least important, but also most crucial techniques to have in a relationship, which is the, what I call hidden support. So let's just go ahead and go here. Hidden strength and weakness. And what this rule says is when the Jupiter of one person, my Jupiter in my chart, aspects the ascendant, sun, or moon, or Venus, if it's a romantic relationship, of the other person, that is a good thing. So for example, if my Jupiter aspects your moon, I make you feel good. You feel good being around me. If your Jupiter aspects my ascendant, I feel good being around you. The difference is that the moon will create more of an emotional connection. The ascendant will create more of a physical, like, oh, physically, I feel good around this person. I get sweet vibes from them. Okay? If my Jupiter aspects or conjuncts or opposes your Venus, then they're going to be good romantic vibes. You feel beautiful. You know, I'll look at you and say, my God, you look amazing. And you say, thank you. Whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. By the way, this works for any kind of relationship, business partner, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter, or just friend. If my Jupiter aspects your moon and we're buddies, we're going to feel good going out together and hanging out, watching TV, whatever it is. If my Jupiter aspects your sun, I'm going to make you, help you realize your full potential in life, right? Sun tends to indicate how to actualize yourself. My Jupiter aspects your moon, you're going to have good warm feelings when I'm around. My Jupiter aspects your ascendant, you're going to feel good physically when I'm around. Maybe I'll encourage you to go on a diet, to encourage your healthy habits and so forth. Now, this is in general. If my Jupiter is retrograde and debilitated, and it may actually encourage you to indulge a little too much. But, you know, there's always the other side of it in astrology. Nothing is ever 100% black and white. But in general, the more connections you two can make, the Jupiter connections, the more of a friendliness there is. So this is the friends connection. So I'm starting with this. And I say it's the least important because there's a lot more. There's soulmate connections, there's sexual connections, there's karmic connections, there are core connections that are more crucial for a long-term relationship than this Jupiter. But this is a great start. All right. So, so let's take a look at this in a couple of charts and see if we can't find, let's find Mr. Justin Timberlake here, for example. And so how do we do this? Now, I'm also going to pull up the South Indian chart. Let's minimize me. Here we go. Now, Mr. Justin Timberlake has his Jupiter in Virgo. Okay. So let's just remember that, Jupiter in Virgo. And now we're going to pull up his wife, Jessica Biel. And let's take his Jupiter and put it right where, you know, where it goes in her chart. So it's right here. So from here, what does Justin's Jupiter affect? Well, look, with its 5 aspects, well, we could start here. It hits her Saturn and Mars. So his Jupiter is on the ruler of her ascendant. Right away, that's very positive. I did say I would pull up the South Indian. Hold on. There we go. Right away, his Jupiter increases her self-esteem a little bit, right? Because it sits on her Lagna Lord. Next, his Jupiter aspects her Venus. He makes her feel pretty. Now, here's a little professional secret. The tighter the aspect, the more intense. So let's see how many degrees is Justin's Jupiter. 1640. 1640, okay? Let's go back to Jessica. And her Venus is 650. So it's not a tight aspect. When you see, like if her Venus had been, say, at 15 or 16 or 17 degrees, this would be very pronounced. This is extraordinary. In this case, it's just okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. What else does his Jupiter aspect? Well, look, it also aspects her moon with Jupiter's 9th drishti. So looking at, you know, if we're here, Jupiter is here, right? Then it goes to Venus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it goes to moon, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here, Justin's Jupiter is hitting her Lagna Lord, her Venus, and her moon. Very positive. Now let's take a look at the other way around. Let's take a look at Jessica's. So Jessica's Jupiter is in Libra at 1640. Okay, so now we're going to transpose that to his chart. Okay, we're going one step at a time here. So we're going to put her Jupiter here. Now, does her Jupiter aspect anything of his? Well, by conjunction, nothing. By aspect, it hits his Mars and Mercury, but those aren't crucial planets, so we can ignore that. It does aspect his MC, his 10th house cusp, which could be good for his career, and it aspects here, but no. So from Jessica, we get nothing. All right. So now, please don't go into interpretation on this. This doesn't mean he doesn't get good vibes from her, just this technique itself. So resist the urge to interpret here. For all we're doing right now is quantifying. So if we go back to the chart, we would see this is actually not their performance. So let's go to Cosmic Insights here. and hidden strengths and weaknesses. Here it is. And now you can read, look, Justin's Jupiter aspects Jessica's moon, which means Justin will be a nourishing influence to Jessica, supporting her emotionally and genuinely having her best interests in mind. That's how it feels when someone aspects your moon, when someone's Jupiter aspects your moon. Justin's Jupiter aspects her Venus also, which enhances romance and love. She feels beautiful around Justin. Okay, so there it is. You have this in the compatibility protocol here. All right, I think so far so good. Now, I'm going to take a break before I give you the harsh aspect, which is the Saturn connections. And I want to show you how to navigate this because this is a little bit not intuitive. When you go to Cosmic Insights and you have this, the most important thing you want is the result. Everything else before it is subservient to the result. All right. And the result is, forget about the actual score. Look at the words. 34 out of 90 may not sound great, but anything above, you can see the key. 20 and below is extremely poor. 20 to 25 is poor. Anything above 30 is good. Okay. Then anything above 42 is amazing. So that's how you read this. And now, so why is this at the end? Well, I think it should be somewhere up here where it's a little more prominent, but this is how you do it, because you may be fooled by going to core connection, soulmate indicators, and thinking those are more important. No, 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 no. The most important is the result. And I'll get into that with the next chart. All right, now let's take a look at the flip side of this, which is Saturn. If the Saturn of one person heavily aspects the moon, ascendant, or sun of the other person, it can be a difficult combination. So let's go. Saturn, Justin's Saturn is at 16 Virgo. Let's go ahead and transplant that just like we did. So there's Justin's Saturn here. By connection, it's also going to hit her ascendant lord. Now, though, it's also hitting her ascendant. And there's no other aspect that Saturn throws. So now we have a good thing, but also Saturn aspecting her ascendant is going to make her feel a little bit, he's going to seem a little cold to her at times. Or sometimes it's vice versa. She'll seem a little aloof. Okay, so that's, now this, again, it's not a deal breaker. One of the deal breakers in Vedic, in astrology, is when Saturn is connected to the other person's sun and it's a tight. That's a deal breaker and it's a divorce combination. But here we don't have that. All right, now let's go the other way. Jessica's Saturn is also in Virgo at 27 degrees. Let's see what it touches in Justin's chart. So from here, Jessica Saturn by conjunction, nothing. By its third aspect, nothing. By its seventh aspect, nothing. And by its 10th aspect, nothing. Here. Okay, so we're clear. All right, so let's go to Cosmic Insights. We'll go to Hidden Strengths and Weaknesses. And here are the harsh lessons. Justin's Saturn aspects Jessica's ascendant, which means that you, Jessica, may see Justin as cold, aloof, insensitive, and even critical of your appearance. Justin, you may not know that your actions are perceived this way, so you will need to encourage Jessica to communicate with you. She should recognize that Justin may need more alone time in the relationship. And Justin should also try to be a little nicer and give a few more compliments on Jessica Biel's appearance, or at least try to be less harsh. Now, with that's by itself, but because they have the Jupiter connections that outweigh the Saturn, overall, this is quite good. So they get a good score. All right. So these are all, both Saturn and Jupiter are factored together in this measurement. All right, so you can see here, I call this hidden strengths and weaknesses. And that's it. So how your Jupiter connects to your partner's chart and vice versa, and then how your Saturn connects to your partner's chart and vice versa. These are two important things. Now, let's go over something else here. 1 second. Okay, so now let's look at a couple of other charts, and we're going to look at the late Anthony Bourdain, whose tragic death was a shock to everyone, with the partner who was, according to some people, a contributor perhaps to that. So again, I'm an outsider. I don't know, what the details of it are. However, what we can see now, let's take a look at their Ashtakuta. First of all, the Ashtakuta looks good. 27 out of 36 is considered very positive. Remember, anything over 18, anything over the score of 18 is considered good. Dashakuta, let's look at that, is 20 out of 38, so. But now, and let's take a look at their modern compatibility. And again, this is the way you use this, guys. It's the final score. It's the result that is the most important. So clicking on that, what do we have here? Extremely poor. All right. Now, remember the key, 20 and below is extremely poor. So they're not even close to 20. 6.75 is very bad. You want this to be, honestly, to be above 30 for this to be a long-term relationship. 6.75 is no bueno. And so going to their hidden strengths and weaknesses, you see here, this is very bad. Why is that? -11, and by the way, let's look at the key. Where's the key? There is no key. You just want this to be in the positive. So let's see what they have, what's good going for them. Well, his Jupiter aspects her Venus, which means he'll find her attractive. She'll feel beautiful around him, right? And they encourage each other with gifts and shared pleasures. And her Jupiter aspects his ascendant, which means she'll actively support, nourish and support the health, well-being, and personality with good advice and deeds, okay? Anthony will feel attractive and supported. This is, again, within the greater context. So I'm sure there was some of that going on. However, look at how much of the Saturn stuff there is. His Saturn aspects her Venus, which is a wet blanket when it comes to romance. You may feel a need to control and so forth. There's a feeling of inadequacy in expressing your own romantic feelings. Then her Saturn aspects his ascendant. And then her Saturn aspects his moon, okay? Again, this is not a deal breaker necessarily, but it's not a great start. So if we were to look at their charts, I actually do not have them pulled up. Let me pull those up 1 second. We can look at this. Okay, I've got the charts pulled up, and sometimes it's difficult to look at this, but these are real world examples, and my apologies to everyone if this is a sensitive thing, but we have to learn from real life, and we have to prevent tragic situations from happening in the future. And the way we do that is to look at the past, to look at what bad relationships look like, to look at what a difficult chart looks like. He had a very difficult chart when it comes to relationships. And I call that the personal handicap. And that's coming up. We'll talk about this in a future video. There are some people who have an amazing personal handicap. Barbara Bush comes to mind. She's one whose chart I've seen. She can make any relationship work. This was the mother of George W. Bush. Any man that she married would have become a CEO or, you know, an important person just because of her chart, her ability to, you know, to make relationships work. Amazing. So some people have that, some people don't. I personally have a really bad personal handicap, which is why I'm interested in this stuff, which is because of, you know, having been through difficult relationships and asking the question, how can we make this better? So even if you have a difficult personal handicap, don't fret. It's that way for a reason, okay? And you have to make the most of it. For me, it's been, you know, not knowing my Dharma led me to research Dharma, which led to a book. Not knowing, you know, about compatibility and personal handicap led me to research those things and create a protocol. So this is why we do this. And sometimes it's hard and difficult, but we have to, you know, we have to use the examples of the past so we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. All right, so let's take a look here. And by the way, there's no blame or credit to anyone. Barbara Bush, because she has a great personal handicap chart, doesn't make her necessarily a better person than someone who doesn't have a good personal handicap. It just means she has skills at making a relationship work and at making her partner, whoever that may be, highly successful, healthy, respected, and so forth. It's just skills. It's not a judgment on whether or not she's a good or bad person. So let's keep that in mind as well. All right, so let's start with Asia here. So her Saturn's at 6, let's say 7 degrees Cancer. I have actually not looked at this with respect to Anthony, so let's take a look. And here we go. So her Saturn sits on his ascendant, right on his Uranus. Wow. At 7 degrees. That is a divorce combo, unfortunately. Whenever Uranus and Sun connect or Uranus and Saturn connect, that is not positive. Furthermore, look at this. Her Saturn's exactly opposite his moon at 5.5 degrees. This is very, very tight. Again, let me show you. Again, this is not the fault of any one person. It just happens to be a bad connection between two people. Again, here's her Saturn in Cancer, okay? Let me pull it up in the South Indian as well. Saturn at 645 Cancer, okay? We're going to transpose that into the partner's chart. 645 is within 1.5 degrees of his moon, opposing his moon, and conjoining his Uranus and ascendant. So that's conjoining the ascendant, opposing the moon, that's a double whammy. The fact that it's with Uranus alone, that's not in the cosmic insights. We haven't programmed that, but it's an additional insight. Furthermore, it aspects exactly his MC, his, wow, so she will be bad for his name and fame. Anyway, or she will be bad. The influence of their relationship, her Saturn's influencing these things, will not be good. Okay, but let's take a look at it the other way around. Let's take a look at his Saturn at 4 degrees Scorpio. Okay, you see it, 4 degrees Scorpio. And how does that relate to her? So let's go ahead and plug that in. His Saturn is here at 4 degrees, very close to the north node of her moon. And his Saturn, by conjunction, doesn't do much. By third aspect, doesn't do much. Now we're taking the Vedic astrology aspects. By opposition, it opposes her Mars, but that doesn't really matter that much. 7, 8, 9, 10, at least in what we're doing here. But look, his Saturn aspects her Venus. Get it? His Saturn, which is here in Scorpio, aspects her Venus. And pretty close, within 3-4 degrees. That's a wet blanket. Okay, that's a negative aspect. So I'm not saying that this relationship didn't work out because of these things, but these things did not help. Okay, So there you go. Her Saturn aspecting his stuff and his Saturn aspecting her Venus. And that's, you can see that here. But remember, these are just factors. They have low soulmate indicators, meaning the connection not super strong. But look, they have a good core connection. Something brings two people together. So one of these factors, so if all you saw when you pulled up Cosmic Insights and you clicked on core connection, oh, this is a great relationship. Not necessarily. Core connection means at first sight, when they first get to know each other, their personalities will go great. Okay. The soulmate indicator shows how sticky, how likely you two are to feel a fated connection. The hidden strength and weakness will develop over time and tell you how good of a friends you are. If you have the friends combo, they certainly did not have it. And so forth. So even though there's no necessarily breakup combos apparent here, who am I to you is good, karmic glue is okay. Remember, it's the final score that really matters in the modern method. And so, yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. How can you see if two people are going to be friends? Let's take a look at a couple more. This is the famous couple, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. Let's put in Paul Newman here and Joanne Woodward. Okay, let's check their compatibility. Now let's check it from the Ashtakuta standpoint first. 25 out of 36, pretty solid. Dashakuta, 17 out of 38, not good, not good. And let's look at the modern method. Again, go straight to the final score here. How does it look? 35.5. Good, a marvelous start. Now, this is, obviously, this was a very famous relationship that stood the test of time in Hollywood. If you don't know who they are, they were married for over 40 years until the death of Paul Newman. So let's take a look here. So their core, look at the core connection. So on the personality level, there are some personality differences here. Soulmate indicator. Ah, check this out. By the way, I haven't done this here. I just put them in before I made this video. So when you do this Cosmic Insights, there are these little what do you call them? Easter eggs or little special bonuses. There are these things called a deal maker or a deal breaker combo. So the relationships that have at least one deal maker are the ones that are going to have a much greater chance of lasting. The relationships that have at least one deal breaker have more of a chance of breaking up. So how many do they have? They have a sun-moon connection that's very tight, presents a strong soulmate connection, whether you're friends, family, or romantic. But they also have a sun conjunct Venus, ascendant or descendant connection. So they have two deal makers here. All right. So they're, and in addition, their soulmate indicators are off the charts. So here is the, by the way, here's the legend. Below 10 is low, 10 to 20 is average, 20 to 30 is great. Above 30 is amazing. And look at this, they have 33.5. So again, the final result, which you'll get here, the modern method result, it paints an overall picture, but again, you still got to go through core connection. On a personality level, they argued, I guarantee you. There was some issues there. But they're such strong soulmates that, wow, amazing. Let's keep going. Hidden strengths and weaknesses. Now look at this. They had more Saturn than Jupiter. They have 12 points for Saturn because his Jupiter hits her ascendant and her Jupiter hits his sun. But his Saturn also hits her ascendant and her Saturn hits his moon. So it's kind of balanced out here. There are sweet vibes, but also harsh. Okay. See the karma. Ah, look at this. This pleases me because, again, I had seen the Anthony Bourdain and Justin Timberlake. I had not seen these in the Cosmic Insight. So this is very pleasing to me. Look at this, karmic glue. Now, what's the difference between karmic glue and soulmate? Karmic glue can be bad or good. Karmic glue simply means you have karma to work out with this person and you're going to be magnetically attracted and stuck together, whether you like it or not, whether it's an abusive relationship or an amazing relationship. So karmic glue by itself will tell you how much stickiness there is. Whereas soulmate indicator is a positive thing. The more you have of it, the more it's like, oh my God, we met, our eyes touched, and we knew, and we were in love. Lightning struck. Karmic glue is like, man, I don't know why, but I can't stop thinking about this person. Like I'm just supposed to be with them. I don't know what's going on. I don't even like them, but I can't stop thinking about them. I'm painting it kind of negative. It can also go the very positive, like I'm obsessed with this person. I can't start thinking about, oh my God, just when he walks by, his smell, oh my God, I can't think of anything else. Or when he looks at me, or when she looks at me. Okay. The soulmate is a little more sattvic. It's a little more. So look, they have both of them. They have the karmic glue score as well. And you can read the outline here. Again, this is why I'm recommending this app, because you're going to get, I wrote this, we wrote this actually with the help of Nadia. The karmic glue score indicates the two of you may be drawn together for reasons beyond your understanding. There is an ancestral pull to each other, almost as if your mutual ancestors desire each other's DNA. A strong desire to procreate and pass on your DNA is usually evident. In a spiritual sense, this may indicate a past life connection. However, most past life connections, this can be a liability because it indicates unfinished business. For example, did one partner die early in another life while the other lived on alone? For example, think about a war. A young couple just gets married, the guy goes off to war, gets killed. They could have been perfectly in love, and now he left her with a child, let's say. He went off and died. She continues to have a full life and lives to the ripe old age of 90, raises her kids, remarries, right? Next lifetime, these two souls meet. Now the guy, this soul, is expecting to get right back into this relationship. But this soul has experienced more. So while there is still a connection, what we call the karmic glue, there you may be at different places. So think about the different paths you two may have had since then, and think long and hard about why you're together now. If your overall compatibility looks good, what do I mean by that? I mean, if this result score overall is positive, well, then the karmic glue is going to be good. It's going to keep you together. It can add a faded or special quality to your relationship. But if it's not very strong, it may indicate getting mired in fantasies, phobias, or confusion. Make sure you're not projecting, or your ancestors aren't projecting through you too much onto your partner. If you can manage these landmines, you can turn the negative score into a positive. Again, this score is not a measure of compatibility. It's just measures the stickiness of the relationship. All right. So, but look at that deal maker. Your karmic glue score is so strong that this becomes an automatic deal maker. Whatever your overall compatibility, this relationship is more likely to stay together for better or worse than if it didn't have this deal maker. You are karmically tied by your passion, desire, and the DNA of your ancestors working through you. It is up to both partners in this lifetime to work through this compulsive connection and resolve the karmic ties and debts in order to find ultimate freedom. What does that mean? Well, they have this amazing karmic glue, but look, they also have this Saturn stuff. Remember, we just looked at this. So again, you have to look at the total picture of compatibility. You can't just say, oh, his Jupiter hits my moon, we're going to be friends forever. Maybe, or maybe his Jupiter hits your moon, but so does his Saturn and yada, yada, yada. And so that it's better to stay away from this person. So this is the first brick, the first layer that we are putting down to help you build a compatibility relationship analysis. And by the time I introduce all the bricks, you're going to go be like, oh my God, there's so much. Again, that's why I'm introducing this app, and we're going to have other apps coming out soon, which can help you navigate all those layers. So, okay, so that's it for today. Later, I'll teach you how to calculate the core connection. I'll teach you more about other aspects of compatibility. So I hope you got something out of this. If you're interested, come join us for the Jyotisha Kumbha Mela. Like I said, you get $50 off by using my code, which is below. Join us for the Vedic Astrology Conference. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, especially live if you can make it. If you're interested in remedial measures, check out the yajnas. You know, it's always good to have a little bit of divine help when nothing else can help. The Cosmic Insights app is available on your phone or here as a desktop app. And that's it. So thanks everyone for being patient, for kind of hanging in there while I was away doing my crypto thing and focusing on the financial side, but I am back. And my goal here will be to help you. Like I said, I'm not doing any more financial stuff on YouTube. That's for my crypto questions answered class. So if you want financial stuff, join our class there. But I will be going into that other part of life, which is relationships, and hopefully helping you find your ideal match. All right. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer. You can like and subscribe and do all that jazz if you wish to. All right. Thank you guys, and we will see you in the next one. Namaste.